Everybody, I don't care who you are, young, old, black, white, you have a connection to music or dance or theater or something after you leave school. And those connections can really help people get through their day-to-day lives and to help them to make connections to other people that they wouldn't normally connect to.
Since, Og dropped the rock on Oog's foot back in caveman times, music has been a huge part of our life. And it's everywhere. Try and go a day without hearing music. You can't.
It's very vital to keep peace of mind, to keep us from going off the deep end. Yeah. And I think we need that. Society needs that. Music kind of leads the way on a lot of things, on a lot of social issues, that it's just very important.
It's a different part of the human experience that we need to learn because it's just part of everything.
That was the best release yet.
Music is important for kids to learn. Music education is underfunded in public schools, including DCPS, and it deserves more funding. Studies have proven that kids who learn music do better academically and have better mental health. Music should be a priority for schools. I spoke to 3 music teachers in Washington, D.C. about the importance of music and how it makes a difference in kids' lives.
My name is Christopher Alberts. I am a DC Public Schools music teacher. This is my 15th year in DC Public Schools.
My name is Denny Delelio. I am the music teacher at Alice Deal Middle School. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th, but during the day I teach 6th and 7th general music, and then I teach before school and after school instrumental lessons. I've been teaching music since 1994. This is my 2nd year in DC.
I'm Josh Taylor. I am a piano teacher at the Sheridan School. I've been teaching just over 10 years.
I really, really like kids. That's why I went into teaching, because I like working with kids and I love music. I love sharing my passion for music for kids.
I became a music teacher because I wanted to work in what I do. So I am a musician, and I am very good with teaching, very good with kids, and I figured I'd marry those two facets together and be able to teach kids and give back to music what it gave to me.
I had some really influential music teachers growing up. I always loved music from 3rd grade when I first got involved. Did it all the way through high school. I thought back to those really influential music teachers that I had, and they helped me get into college and were really good for helping to shape the kind of person I am. So I decided to become a music teacher.
Studies have shown that studying music can help kids in a lot of ways. For example, music helps in the brain development of children. It also has been shown to help with memory and creative thinking.
Music education opens up a whole new world to the kids. First of all, it opens up a whole new world of expression. I have seen music change the lives of so many children. I've been teaching for 24 years. And just even in my own personal children, I have seen how it can affect their lives.
And a music teacher can totally bring influences. They're kind of like, if you're looking at the Beatles had a producer that was very well versed in other music. Had they not had George Martin, you wouldn't have had Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, even in Help and all those tunes, because they didn't have that influence of someone to come in and be like, hey, you ever tried this? It broadens your horizons. It broadens your listening.
Music was why I got up in the morning. Music is why I chose to show up on time every day. For some students, it gives them leadership skills. For some students, it gives them an outlet socially. For some students, it's a way of getting away from the rest of the world. So it's different for everybody. It's personal.
You're learning a lot of big life skills in a small package. You're learning how to solve problems. You're learning how to finish projects, start new ones. In the case of starting new pieces, you're learning to practice. You're learning to do things. How do we learn things? By doing them. And we start by doing small exercises. We bring them back and you learn something else. And the more you put together, the more you're able to do it. And so that's how vital music education is.
And there are so many professions in music that are not specifically musical, say advertising. That's not musical. Having some sort of musical background as a touchstone to hit certain cultural aspects.
Do you think that music education is just as important as subjects like math or reading? And why?
I honestly, and I know I'm biased, but I think it's more important. Math and reading and science are really important, don't get me wrong. Those things help a lot of people discover a lot of different things about themselves. But it's not as, so I'll say it like this. Everybody, no matter what their walk of life is in some form impacted by music or the arts. And not everybody can say that about science once they move on. Yes, your life is impacted by science, but they don't have a passionate or personal connection to science necessarily.
A study of 7,500 music majors at universities showed that they scored the highest reading scores among all majors. Music majors also have better scores in math standardized tests.
From your experience, do you think that learning music helps kids with other subjects like math and reading?
I do. I had today, for instance, I was filling out applications of students who are applying to the AA program. And as you know, that's a really highly academic program. People go into college when they're supposed to be a junior in high school. Half of the list of students who I saw applying were students who are somehow or form involved in music.
Music helps kids with math and reading by, of course, there's the practical application in math. Music is mathematics, and you're learning how to read notes, etc., and you're learning terms. But beyond that, most importantly, you're learning, it gives them a break, so to speak. It gives them a sort of a kind of an escape into the world of music. You can kind of throw everything away, and it helps your brain adjust. It's almost like meditation. Even further along, I've taught kids whose parents were musicians but do something like law, for example, and they're not in the arts at all, but they play the piano, and it helps them to just settle themselves. It helps them with what they're working on. So I think it's just vital for that.
I always say that music is math with emotion. So it's a matter of learning how to count and learning how to express yourself through counting. There's a lot of things that go on to it. As a matter of fact, in my general music class, we're talking a lot about science and sound waves, and we're talking about how sound is affected. And so to teach that, I had to teach light waves. I had to teach sound. So I'm teaching other aspects of the curriculum in the school because it's one of those subjects that encompasses everything.
Music is one of those subjects that benefits the student and the teacher. And I say that the students learn how to play an instrument or how to sing or how to do whatever they're doing. But as a teacher, I always have students who want to be in my classroom. Wanting to be in a classroom means that they're more eager to learn. They're more open to being coached and to learning. Whereas opposed to a kid who's taken a math class who doesn't see any value in calculus, even though there is, won't necessarily put the same effort into it.
Students have had a lot less arts education since 1997. For example, elementary school instrument programs, regional string orchestra programs, and courses are regularly being eliminated. Since 2010, studies say that a majority of public schools have cut arts programs. Only core academic subjects are being left alone.
Do you ever feel restricted by your budget?
Yes, I feel restricted by my budget.
Do you get enough funding for everything that you want to do in your class?
No.
Do you ever feel restricted by your budget?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, so we definitely have problems with funding. So I've been in orchestra and in stage band. And in both cases, we often don't have enough instruments, and we don't get our instruments repaired when they break because school doesn't really spend any money on instruments. Mr. Alberts, our music teacher, often has to pay for it himself. So that just means that we're playing with bad equipment and not enough different types of instruments.
I'm told what I get, but I don't always see what I get. It's very difficult. I know there are other schools. I was just having a conversation with another director from a nearby school who gets a lot of money, but the principal takes it first. And then whatever's left after the principal's done using it for operating expenses, then they get to see it. And it's at this point in the year, he hasn't been able to see any of his budget. So that's here. It's strange for me because I come from a different state teaching that's not the way it works in other places.
Yeah.
So in DC public schools, all teachers get a $200 gift card as their beginning of the year budget, which as a music teacher, it doesn't help me at all. So there is music money in the budget. That doesn't necessarily mean it gets to me, because that money sometimes needs to go towards teacher salaries or secretary salaries or janitorial salaries or other needs that the school has, buying paper, buying toilet paper, buying pencils for the kids. So it's really hard to always have what you want.
Let me put it this way. I think that there is inconsistent access to the funding that is provided. That's the best way I can describe it, because I know there's money that we get from the Ed Center that we're able to access, that other schools are able to get, that they're not necessarily able to access easily.
I think I have it better than most public school teachers, as I have a parent body who is very willing to help out when they can. But if you go into some of the schools that, the neighborhood schools that the kids just live in that neighborhood and come, then you get a lot more diverse financial background, socioeconomical background, and their parents aren't able to, even if they want to give this kind of support that I can get here.
They seem to be putting us music on the back burner because they feel that they have bigger issues with things like park scores and English and all those things, which I can see that point of view. I'm completely sympathetic to it, but I don't think the arts are a priority.
The new chancellor is saying that he is going to make the arts a priority. He wants our schools to become more STEAM oriented, which is awesome. So I hope that that's something that's coming down the pipeline. I also think that it's more on the administration and the school community as a whole. If there's a desire to have an affluent music program or an affluent arts program in general, then usually it comes from the top down. I don't know a single teacher who teaches this subject that doesn't want to do more, but it's really hard if you don't have a principal who sees the value in what you want to do. So.
Every child, no matter how rich or poor, deserves the chance to benefit from learning music. Not only does it help them academically and improve their mental health, but music is a way for students to express themselves creatively and for them to express their emotions.
I really do think that getting a chance to explore music in the way that is happening in other parts of the world, just even right across our borders on either east or west side of DC, would really give the chance for the kids here in these schools to have such a much more robust opportunity. Getting ensembles in the school day, making sure every school has an ensemble, have them a chance to express, bring the arts into the school day. Right now, arts are not in the school day for a great many of the schools that need to be in the schools. There's general music in it, but not any of the other forms of music, and that's after they've had the general music, they need that practical application, and I would like to see that more in DC, and I would like it to be supported more in DC, because the kids that live in DC are absolutely no less talented than the kids who live across the Potomac River, and right across the Potomac River in the county of Fairfax, Virginia, is one of the most highly sought after crop of kids for music schools all over the world because of the programs that they have set up, and they're just absolutely phenomenal. Those kids are no more talented. I know my kids, my personal kids are some of them. They are no more talented than any of the kids who live here in DC. They just have the access to what they need. And we need access more than just Ellington for those talented kids, because they don't have an Ellington in Fairfax County. everyone has an opportunity to excel and exceed at music, and especially in instrumental music and choral music. And I wish we had that opportunity, because I feel like those talented kids go underserved.
But I'm
Since so much evidence shows the positive benefits in everything from social lives to academic success to mental health, DCPS needs to prioritize music education and give it more funding.